Hold on.
We're getting this thing situated. We had.
Hold on. We will.
What are you doing?
Is that fine? That thing usually stand up.
I'll show you.
Really? That's how? It's gonna fall.
Most likely.
There is a way. Oh my God.
Hi.
Stop.
Oh,
Hi, this is live from Kristie and Ryan's new.
Yeah,
play.
we're actually live. I forgot to tell you.
We're live now.
This thing stands. This thing makes it stand.
What?
That's the point of these, right? Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Outstanding.
Holy shit, we did.
That seems
Totally
to be
know what we're doing. We've done this
That's-
before many
Wait,
lifetimes,
hold this?
Todd.
No.
really.
Many lifetimes we've
Let
done
me put
this.
these underneath.
That-
Lift it.
This is good. This is so good.
Lift it up one more. Stop. Let me. Like this. Ready?
I don't understand why it's got to be lifted up one more though.
So it's higher. There. Better angle. Gosh.
You haven't learned yet. Okay.
We're ready.
So yeah. All right. Let's see now. We got here. Let me turn on the. Oh, I can't. Damnation.
It was down like this.
Hang on. Let me try. I'm gonna pull up the comments. Hang on. Let's see, put this here. So I can at least see the comments on here. Turn this on.
Never do anything together.
So this ends our.
And this is the end of our relationship.
All right. So what's happening?
Oh,
What's happening? We got a few people.
You mean
in the
prior
house.
to this?
What's that?
Prior to this?
Yeah. Prior. Yes. How are things flowing?
oh, they're flowing.
They're flowing so flowy. So flowy.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't want to bring up anything I shouldn't. It's been divulged to me in private. Although I did see that monstrous meal y'all had.
Yeah.
It looked like, huh?
We've been I've been pretty much wanting to go vegan since for a long time, and I've done my stint in and out, and I've done my own, I've gone weeks to months and then can never hang with it. It's just so good having a partner here that I can follow through. And then so we've been doing a lot of clean eating lately since she got here. And then Friday she decided that she wanted to try Mexican. It's like, yeah, all right.
Yeah.
We can do this. You're in Texas, you might as well get the Mexican out of the way. Not out of the way, but just
So,
Honestly, like since everything, just all of this process of upgrading and whatnot, there's just been so many different diet changes. Like I dropped the label of vegan a while ago. I used to be, like a militant vegan, and I just dropped that label and I just kind of eat energetically now. I just eat what feels right and like what I need. And for a few months there, it was like a lot of really heavy foods. And now it's kind of moving into more like I can only really stomach like a big meal a day, or else a few small meals. Like we mostly eat hummus and fruit.
So how was it like to eat your first Mexican? I mean,
Oh man,
you know what I mean?
awkward.
That didn't come out right.
No, but
right.
I picked up what you were putting down.
I wasn't
We heard
putting
you,
it
my
down.
boy.
It
We
just
heard you,
came
man.
out. Oh my God. So is that the root of this new diet?
I don't think it's a new diet. It's just we're eating whatever feels good.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I'm good.
And the thing is, we're so comfortable around each other. It's weird because you would think that, having met online and going into a brand new relationship that neither one of us has ever been involved in, that the first time you move in with each other, okay, there's got to be an awkward stage, the bathroom stage, the kitchen stage. There's got to be an awkward bedroom stage. No, it's like we know each other. It's like everything feels very, very, very familiar. Up to the point that we had this realization that we've done this so many times, lifetime after lifetime. We recognize that this is kind of a role that we've played, before. So, I mean, I don't feel an awkwardness at all when it comes to eating or just being around each other, just, acting our quirky selves in public, showing our emotions towards each other in public or around other people. It's not weird or awkward or shameful at all. It's like, we know each other. Yes, I recognize you. I recognize you.
Howdy, partner.
Hi. How you doing?
How you doing?
I think there has been awkwardness though, like in relation to intimacy and stuff, like just us like getting to kind of get to a place where, well, okay, so I really want to kind of just bear all transparency, right?
That's right.
That's the word of the year. So, yeah, we just like both of us before have had issues in relation to intimacy when it comes to sex. And, we always were using sex before as kind of just like, mashing genitals. And it wasn't really like a vulnerable, beautiful, sacred experience for either of us. And so, our first, foray into that when we got here was like a little awkward.
It's like kids meeting each other for the first time, and what do you do and stuff like that.
We were like born again virgins, right? It was like, what goes where, and like we were just like
you had to Google.
You had to Google it. So you're no longer rubbing bellies, right?
Yes.
What's that code for these days?
It's that squishing genitals, hammering,
mashing genitals,
mashing.
That's what you do on Thanksgiving.
So, wow, that's pretty deep.
Yeah, it's been super vulnerable for both of us, just like admitting that we both kind of don't know what we're doing and rolling with that energy, just being that transparent sort of newbie, I guess you could say. And that's with all things, like, just walking around, making decisions as a team. There's not like some sort of subtle manipulation going on. Like
it's so innocent. It's so tender. It's like, when we're making decisions, it's like, there's this, I trust her, she trusts me, where there's no ulterior motive to anything that we're deciding on, whether it's meals or just future decision. And we are making future decisions. We're trying to stay as much in the now as we can, but it's out there. This is so not what we thought we were getting into, as far as like just just like a regular 3D relationship. It seems like everything has kind of the plan has kind of been evolving energetically, etherically, without our I guess present knowledge of it. It's been coming to her in like either meditation or when she grounds, and there seems to be a future that we've done before. There seems to be a role and plan that we've done this before several times. Yeah. And this time seems to be the one, because it's in the ascension. It's in the ascension time that this is where we take our old roles as just boy, girl, man, wife, 3D relationship, and we actually do the spiritual as well, because this is something that I don't think we've done in the past. I mean, we've always been there for each other. We've always, it seems to be a memory that whenever in past lives, whenever she was going through her stuff and she was deep in shadow and there was like no way out, that was my role to step in, from out of nowhere. And I've done this so many times before. This is why it feels so familiar. We recognize each other. And this is just stuff that's been coming to us just lately. Within the past, she's only been here a week. And this is stuff that's just been coming to us just in the past 5 days, as we held each other and just kind of breathed and just kind of closed our eyes.
Yeah. I was quite familiar with the inner workings of the hero's journey for the last, few years. That's been what I've been going through. And I guess at a certain stage I'm not married to the idea of like linearity at all with this, like with how it goes, the stages of the hero's journey and whatnot. But there is a point when sometimes there is like outside help that steps in. That, like, I don't know if you think of like all the hero's journey movies and things like that. Sometimes there's like an outside help that comes in and almost like while you're down in your hole comes and like pulls you up and like kind of reminds you like, hey, get going, that kind of like a little push in the right direction. And I really feel like that's what Ryan has been for me for many years, many lifetimes. And and we've done it for each other. And all of that just felt like it came to me before I came here, like before when we were just friends for those 8 months. Something happened in August where we were both on these like tracks, and then I jumped track. Like I jumped to the track that he was on. So now we're on the same track. Like it was like a total timeline hop. And I think I shared that with you during our live a few weeks ago. It was a total timeline hop. Like everything has shifted and like, I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I was supposed to be doing. It's so strange how that works so fast. And it, maybe to like a 3D, it would be, or like whatever you want to call it. Like some people have questioned me from my old world. They're like, you're going to like live with this guy you met on the internet. Like, it seems weird, but it's not at all.
What was that?
Oh, what part did you miss?
Living with this guy?
Oh, living with this guy off the internet.
No, I always had this feeling that it was not a short visit.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you meant. Yeah. I'm going to be here as long as I can be. I don't really know how that works with everything and immigration and whatever, but we're just going to deal with that.
What's that? I'm not aware of that. Is there any type I'm kidding. I'm just joking with you. I'm kidding with you.
So Todd knows a little bit about this.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, no, I don't. It's not in my field. It's not in my field. But no, I had that feeling when y'all announced this. I heard something about 5 days. I'm like, no fucking way. It's no 5 days. So, you touched on this is huge, and we can relate to it. And some of the couples that we've worked with, we've heard the same thing. There's a whole different dimension you walk into when it comes to intimacy, right? Like you said, it's like you're like two little kids, and you're re-virginized. You know what I mean?
Feels that way. Yeah.
Like that's just something I don't want to miss because it's just, what, like I've said this many times. I asked Morgan, she downloaded Harioscamus and Sacred Sexuality for many years. And I said, what the hell are we supposed to do? She goes, I don't know, but we're not supposed to do what we used to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
We're learning as we go. And when it gets to the point where we tend to overthink, that's when we say, hey, look, this doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
Let's slow down. Let's breathe. The breathing has been the biggest thing. I don't know how that fits in, like Helios Gamos, or I'm sure in tantric and all that stuff, but it's been a really I can't tell you. I've never breathed. It's like, it's always been like, and it's like, wow, I can breathe during.
Yes, right. Okay. Was it something you had to do consciously, or was it something that was natural?
No, well, I think we leading up to her getting here, we had always said that we don't want to do this the old fashioned way, the old ways where you just get in bed and so what's the, I don't want to
mashing genitals,
bang it out, but I said I'm very much interested in conscious. I wanted to explore you and Morgan talking about the Hiroscamos, the tantric and all that stuff, and everything that I've learned about was it had to do with the breath, the sacred breath.
Yeah. So
we knew we talked about this for many months, that if any of this, and this is before she even did, we even knew she was coming down, but we knew that one day we were gonna meet, and that it was gonna be different, and that it was not gonna be the same as everything else, and that it was gonna be sacred, and that she was gonna be a temple, and that I was gonna treat her like a queen and a goddess, and it was gonna be my temple, and it was, something to be taken seriously and sacred, which I've never done before, which I've never been able to do before. I wasn't open for it. My heart wasn't there. I wasn't ready. And it seems that we both came in with the codes, with the keys to each other. And that was the main thing. So
the timing, this year in September, completion is a 9. I want to say something quick on the breathing. And I just saw a comment Morgan made about, we don't do tantric, and it's true. We don't. But what I noticed about the breathing,
I don't even know what that is.
Right. I don't either. But what I noticed about the breathing is when we're in the sacred sexual, frequency, I've noticed that my breathing, and I don't have to think about it. It just takes over. Like there's something connected with the breathing. And don't take this the wrong way, but there's something that connected with the breathing that is linked to virility and stamina and power and strength, right? I mean, it's not, I don't mean that in a sexual way, but I mean, there's some kind of energy that just, and I noticed that about some of our interludes and even when we would just be putting our hands together and the energy was there, my breathing goes into a certain rhythm. Yeah.
We tend to sync up our breaths. And that puts us, we're already in a vortex, in this energetic third energy that we created. But that, when it syncs up like that.
Yeah. I'm getting, okay, so I guess, you both came with the code. It became obvious in the moment by moment, like you said, over the last 5 days, things have come to you that didn't come to you before she came. Is it like that code, like you haven't taken any instruction, you're just meeting in that place and see how, and just go off instinct.
It's like the code was there even before she came here. Our voices would activate each other. And this was on camera. Our eyes, our voice. First of all, our voices would definitely activate each other. It was doing something. It was changing us. I recognized her, not Kristie, human Kristie. That came later, but the soul Kristie, the I am the, that Kristie before we incarnated here and we set this whole thing up, and we were planning our adventures, you know, to whatever lifetime we were coming into, and she was planning a thing, and I would say, I want to do that. I want to be that person. So it seems like every role that we planned out together, we were always each other's big part. Yeah, there was never a part where we played small parts for each other. It was never like, you know, it was always either, you know, husband, wife, some kind of savior, doctor, or you know, even child, mother. You know, we're remembering stuff like that, and it just feels, you know, it just feels like we've always done this for each other.
Does it come in that field of sacred sexuality? I mean, I don't mean you have to be laying in bed. I don't mean that. I just mean like, is the coding coming, or the memories coming in and the coding coming in when you hit, when you're in that, to that degree of alignment? Or is it just a natural process?
So I do a lot of like clearing, like I'll sit and I'll make octahedrons, and I will do a bunch of like energy work outside in the grass, and I just sit there and
Goddess, right?
And I'm really connected to the land here, Todd. Like, it really feels like something here in like Texas, or just like this land particularly, like it feels like home. I don't know what it is. It's like a very, like, I've always been very connected to earth grids, but like it just feels very, I don't know, there's something big for me here. It just feels like that. And so I sit outside under this willow tree, and it's really beautiful. It's hot and muggy, and I'll just sit there and I'll be doing these, like I'll be setting up these octahedrons and the Merkaba and all that stuff, and doing clearing for the land and where we are and for each other's fields. And then I'll just get these visions, like this is what you're going to do, or this is what you've done. Like in the past, we've had many family, like we've had a family, we've had kids together in past lives. And I just, like, one night I had, like, during the dream state, I was breastfeeding. I felt something attached to my breast, and it wasn't like an entity, it was like a child. And I was like, it felt like, oh, I've done this before, or, you know, it's just like, it's like that. It comes in just these little, like, as needed to know basis, just little, like, bloop, remember this, remember that. Yeah, it mostly comes to me when I'm quiet, or sleeping, or intentionally like sitting and downloading information. But yeah, like we'll just be joking and talking and doing our thing, which we laugh all the time.
Oh, so much laughing.
All we're doing is laughing and having fun. And, you know, we'll just like look at each other and we're like, why does this feel so good? And it's not just like those beginning of relationship, like excitements that are, you know, normal, that honeymoon period, whatever you want to call it. It feels like, you know, we're family.
Yeah. Like everything goes. We've done this so many times that nothing should feel uncomfortable at this point.
We don't feel uncomfortable about anything. We're just sitting there with like, whatever, like just chilling. Like, I don't know how to describe it. We're just so comfortable with each other. Maybe because we were friends for so long first.
I think so. I mean, that's a great way to start anything, but, you know, especially not knowing, you know, at that point we had no idea where this was going to lead. I mean, it just kind of dawned on us one day, you know. I mean, this was Kristie Sparksman just kind of showed up on my comment section one day in a Todd interview, and then vice versa, same thing. It's like we enjoyed each other's jokes and our wit, and then it's like there's something to this. Then we started noticing so many similarities in our, you know, growing up. We had everything the same. I told her it's almost like is when we were planning this stuff, we got the same script. It's like the same exact script. Rock star, bartender, okay, you're going to do this,
Alcohol.
so many drugs during this time. You're going to do this stuff over here, Rex, all this stuff, except you're going to do it in your decade. I'm going to do it in my decade. And somehow we're going to meet up and we're going to like, whoa, that is exactly the same. No, that happened to you too. What?
Yeah.
We have the same. What? I mean, it just made sense. And I had to start putting two and two together, that we had so many syncs coming at us at the same time. And when she started having her breast thing, remember at the beginning of the year when my right,
Your right testicle?
Yeah.
Testicle.
What
happened to it?
It's a jiu-jitsu accident.
Oh,
remember that?
Your huevos got scrambled.
Sí, mis huevitos están scrambled. Sí, muy mal.
Muy
Muy mal.
Ah,
Sí.
No estoy bien.
No es. Los cucarachas entren, pero no pueden salir.
oh my
So
God.
when she started having that little pain come up,
Mhm.
ironically, mine started acting up again. I started kind of like feeling pain when she was telling me that. And I told her, this is crazy. I don't know what to think of this, but I'm just going to put it out there. As soon as you told me, and she'd already been to the doctor about this, about the pain. And I said, with everything that's going on, as soon as you did this, mine started feeling painful again. I've got to tell you, there's way too many things happening in our life for me to think that this is all coincidence. Is there possibly, is this maybe we're supposed to do some healing on each other? I don't know.
And I was like, see you later.
See ya.
Jeez,
I tried.
it's amazing. It's amazing. God, I mean, I can barely look at y'all. I just want to start giggling and laughing.
Welcome to our
life.
world. This is what we do. We laugh all the time.
I can't help it. Oh my God, what a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Wild.
Ah,
Just the timeline itself. Like I had this plan back in May. I got the download that I was to go to Victoria, which is the province over from me in Canada, where my mom lives. I got the download that I was supposed to go there. It just was like, boop, lightning rod to my head. I was like, okay, Victoria, you're going there. And then somewhere along the summer, something flipped. Like I said, those train tracks, I was going to do that. And then boop, nope, it was suddenly like, you need to go to Texas. And I was supposed to come here on the 13th of September. And I booked my flight. And then the next day, I got this very pronounced, it wasn't fear, it was just intuition, like totally just a voice was like from within was like, change your flight. I was like, what? Like, we just booked it. Like, this is, I sat with it. I thought I was pretty sure 13th was the day. And I sat with it for a little bit and I was like, okay, this voice just kept saying, change your flight, change your flight, change your flight. And I, my human was like, why? I needed an answer, but it was just like, change your flight. And I was like, okay. So I was like, Ryan, I think we need to change the flight. So I came 2 weeks earlier than I was originally planned. And I'm not sure why. I know my human still wants to know why, but I had this feeling that the border might be an issue in September. Like that was what I kind of intuitively felt, because Canada, like the land border from Canada to the US was extended in terms of being closed until the end of September, but not the air border. So you could still fly. So it was just, that hit was just, it felt really important. I was like, it feels to me like maybe something would come up in September. And that's just kind of what I was told. It wasn't fear. It was just sort of like, you need to do this. And I was like, okay. And then we had these little steps. So I had to take a PCR test in order to fly. I had to take it within 3 days of flying. I had to get across the border. So we had these like little steps that we were like, okay.
Four. We had to cross.
Four. We had 4 steps. And I asked for angelic support and everything. I was like, let's do this. So PCR test, boom, $150. Boo. And, yeah, boo. And then next one was get the results before I fly, which was they said 24 to 48 hours for the results. And my flight was exactly 48 hours. So I was like, I'm doing it. I got the results in like 16 hours. It was so fast. It was like negative. I was like, perfect. First hurdle.
First hurdle.
Was that the first? Yeah. Second one was get the results before flight. So that was first was negative result.
Yeah.
Get the results before I fly. I'm led across the border. That's 3, and then land safely in Texas. And I did it.
It was like the way it all happened was so easy. Is like, is this really, has the universe just kind of moved everything out of our way? And it seemed like that because all of her, I told you, we all of a sudden within the last couple of months have had these same sync numbers that have come up on everything.
1, 2, 3, 4.
333, 444, 555, 777.
But specifically like 1, 2, 3, 4 is like
new.
I hadn't seen that number, and I was seeing it all the time, and I was like, what is this? Like, I don't understand. Like, and then it kind of just came to me like new beginning, new chapter, new beginning. And I was like,
wow.
Okay. And then when I was driving into the airport in a cab, going to heading to the airport to fly to Texas, I pulled up behind, a Texas license plate. Like, there were just so many little things that were just like, you're in the right direction. Even though I knew that, it was just like so sweet, those little signs that are just like the universe like cheering you on.
Because we start overthinking ourselves all the time. This stuff is happening.
What happened?
A little thing popped up on the bottom. You're about to raise your hand. I don't know why. Is that the universe telling us to raise our hands? We'll do it.
So what was the original flight date? The 13th?
Yeah, September 13th.
Yeah, because you may end up being right. I know the UK just, I guess, took the US off the list.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
everything that she was getting was like, she was super like, I don't understand. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, a month is perfect timing. It doesn't rush anything. Everything's, gives us time to prepare. I was like, yeah, as soon as I know this, I'm going to start cleaning this place up, getting her desk ready, getting this place in shape. And then all of a sudden it was 2 weeks. And I remember the first thing she says, I don't want to freak you out, but 2 weeks. I was like, I'm not freaked out. I want you here today. But it did rush us a little bit. So, but even that, we didn't feel like in fear or panicky or anything like that. Everything was just like, okay, this is going to happen. This is good. And as soon as she got here, it felt like home. I mean, it really did feel like home.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's funny with all the, old relationship patterns have just like come up for me, like all these old ways I used to participate in relationships, like subtle manipulations, trying to control or change, like just codependency templates, like those old things that I've just been used to. There isn't this feeling like he's completing me at all. It's fully like me, him, third energy, and we just share. Like, it's like a sharing instead of like you give and take and like I'm holding you and you're holding me and all that stuff. Like it's not like that at all. And so that's just such a new feeling for us both. It's just so interesting being like every day we're just like, really? It can just be fun and joyful. It doesn't have to be this like dramatic
so much laughter
thing.
Much laughter.
I can tell. Hey, I think Morgan and I had this reading. Well, we put it out. It was she had the reading. It was a cosmic astrology. And then, so Catherine Kinney took her through it. I got the Zoom tape. We put it out, and but there was a lot that I learned about. We learned about what they call mortal numbers and cosmic numbers. Cosmic numbers begin at 10, and then of course the numbers of your names and birth dates and situations. But she was making the point that you might have been coming on the date that you did because of the new, because of the lining up, the alignment of the different numbers and such. We've had that same thing. It's really seemed like it picked up the last couple of weeks. Like the number thing is almost ridiculous. We're seeing them all day long.
One of the major numbers that, besides so we've been seeing each individual since we started our own wake up process for years. We've seen the triple numbers. And this is the first time we've been seeing double numbers consistently. And one of the numbers that was pronounced, stuck out in my field, was 22. 22. August 22nd. That's my birthday. Always been a big number for me. But this has been in my face, like on clocks. Like my phone will turn on, it'll be 7:22, 3:22, 8:22, 1:22. And then I'll see it like on license plates. And I'm like, I'm thinking, well, it's my birthday. Obviously, I'm a Leo. I'm stepping into my Leo energies. This is obviously about me. And we start researching this stuff because all these numbers seem to like popping up on our field, and we're both like, what do they mean? And so, all right, I'm seeing 22 consistently. Let's look it up. Okay. And we start talking about like, I start telling her about, the life path numbers. I'm in number 4.
I've never like known about any of this.
She doesn't know about any of this
I'm
stuff.
like, I don't.
I'm number 4, which is 2 + 2, by the way.
Exactly.
So I'm getting her information. I'm just gonna try it out just so I can look it up. Blah blah blah. Of course she's a freaking 22. Obviously, of course she's a 22. Of course.
I
believe the 22 is the twin ray.
It's a master number.
Yeah, it's a master. It's a twin ray. I saw a write-up on it recently, and just in the last few days. But yeah, it is a master number.
May we interject something?
Yeah.
That we just found out just a while ago.
What?
Oh man, twin ray. I mean, I'm not attached to any of these labels and
Me
whatever.
neither.
Like, who cares? But it's just funny. So I was on the twin flame path, and I guess I was like, this word twin ray kept coming into my field lately, and I'm like, what is this? Like, I thought it was just like another fancy label or word for twin flame, and I was like, I haven't really cared to be like in that part of like, I finished that leg of my journey, and then I looked it up. I was just curious because it was just in my field a lot, and I was like, what is this? Is this like the same thing? And I guess twin ray steps in. It's like your highest caliber soulmate that you can have on like the on the earth plane once you achieve a certain level of consciousness or whatever. I don't know. That's just what the thing said. And then it said that if the twin flame relationship is not available, your twin ray steps in. And this is just like a half an hour before we were on with you. I was like, oh, this is crazy, because we kept saying like, it feels like Ryan stepped in to like complete this, like work on this, on these templates that I came here to heal with, like, what was supposed to be my twin flame, but he's not available. So it's like Ryan steps in so that we can actually do this like healing work and relationship with females and males. Like, this has been a big part of my healing, is healing this, between these two and inside, of course, first, but healing like relationship issues.
We should also point that out for that, what she said. We've done a lot of healing work on our own inside first, or else none of this would work out if we were still in abandonment or victim mode here. And we couldn't do any of this stuff had we not done the work on ourselves. But that's pretty much what she's talking about. I mean, this when we decided to do this, it was about healing the relationship template, the fixing. We kind of look at each other as kind of like a do-over. A do-over, the right way.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that we should have done at the very beginning before. No
should-haves.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but before life took its little roads.
Yeah, it's sort of like we both weren't able to be intimate were vulnerable in relationships before because of all of our traumas and our inability to open up and all the shame we had. And so once we've reached this certain level of healing, it now becomes, you know, the do-over, the start of like a brand new type of relationship that isn't based on trauma bonds or, you know, saving or codependency or any perpetrator, any of that. It's just like a beautiful
or mashing genitals,
beautiful mashing of genitals
or erections. I mean, it's a whole different ballgame.
Erections, you say? Tell me
Hey,
about
but
this,
you know,
Ed.
one thing I know about both of you, and I think everybody does, that you both have been working on yourself. I'm glad that you brought that up, because a lot of people, and I'm not even in the business of being a practitioner, but I'll have people ask me, how do I find my partner? And I'm like, I don't know, but I know one thing: if you bring yourself into a higher frequency, there seems to be some type of relationship. But what I was going to ask you is, we all know that you've done the work individually, and then the last time or sometime that we talked, or maybe when you did your coming out thing, you were talking about how, or maybe it was even privately, I don't remember, but when you guys would connect like this every night, you would go through a process and you would lead the way. Kristie would lead the way. And that was that, I think you actually said this, that you actually were now working, collaborating together to do the same thing you were doing for yourselves individually. Are you still doing that now that y'all are face to face?
We're going to. We just had to come up for air first, Todd.
But she has been doing clearing and stuff.
Yeah.
And she still does that. It's just without me present.
Yeah.
She does a lot of stuff at night, as we're going to bed.
Yeah.
We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it again together. I think we just needed to get settled and integrate, and then, I do really want to practice. I don't know, just light body stuff with him. Now that we're in each other's physical space, it feels like it's gonna be so cool, because I have all these tools that I have always been using on myself, but it'll be really interesting to see how it integrates with Ryan.
You mentioned you, him, or you, her, and the third energy. And a lot of couples have talked about that third energy, and sometimes it starts to take form, in something that's manifested or constructed. Have you got any sense of that at all? Anything like that come in?
For now, it's just sort of this, it feels almost like a warm, sort of fuzzy blanket almost. Like I put a Merkaba around us before bed, and pretty much every morning, and do the octahedron stuff as well. But it sort of just comes in as like this anamorphous, like, I don't know how to describe it really with words. It's kind of, it just feels like a blanket, like it's like but it's aware of us, if that makes sense. It's like aware of us. It's aware of our energy. We are aware of it in our subtle body. Like, we are aware that it exists. And like when I'm talking to him and we're in deep connection, I can feel it and sense it around us. I wouldn't say I can like see these things so much as I can feel them. It's like a very clairsentient sort of thing versus like seeing something tangible.
And it's brand new too. So I think right now it's very open to our creative process. I mean, we talked just yesterday, we were at the piano and we were just talking about music, and I was like, well, I mean, it's a possibility.
He's going to write music and I might write lyrics.
She's a great writer.
He's a great melody guy.
Look, he's totally too humble. I'm telling you, he's a virtuoso on the guitar. And I know he's just like crazy. My friends that saw our work together were like, who is that dude, man? He's like, Clapton. I mean, he's got that ear.
He was like, I'm out of practice.
And my shredding hand has not been very active since I brought my students home, in a year ago.
He's lying. It's so good.
It's just like riding a bike, man. You just have to.
So that's what happens when you get on the path. You don't have the, your hand doesn't get the exercise it used to because you're moving into
His
a higher.
hand gets the exercise.
I don't know what you mean, sir. I don't see. What's he talking about?
Okay.
Don't you know it's new?
God, I had a great question, but I forgot it. What's that?
Because he's got sex on his mind. What is he spraying there?
I haven't gone yet. I don't know. This cleanse is bullshit.
Oh,
This
is how comfortable we are with each other, around each other. We did our first super colon cleanse today, and
it hasn't worked for me. That's all I'm saying. Let me try it out.
Todd's spraying over there.
Yeah, no, I'm just.
Can you smell it from here?
No. I'm just giving you a hard time, but I don't even know what that is. Is it the guacamole? Is it the guacamole and the frijoles?
No. No, there's several things. There's the you guys know the pomegranate cleanse, the juice cleanse, and all that stuff. This is a psyllium husk
and senna leaf. Senna leaf, I guess, is a natural laxative. Ryan is like all about this cleanse, and he was like, "I'm gonna do it. I want you to do it with me."
Well,
and I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, it's because we had Mexican food yesterday. I was like, "I'm so full, I couldn't sleep last night." It's like, I'm just gonna Saturday after lessons, I'm gonna cleanse. I'm just gonna go all the way. You take this little powder. It's nasty as hell, man, to get down.
It's really all natural.
But in 6 hours, I mean, if you're not by a bathroom, it's you gotta be by a bathroom in 6 hours. That's all I'm saying.
Oh God.
She apparently says, "Nope, I've got this."
Well, I don't normally get embarrassed about anything, but this is kind of pushing me to my limits. And it's funny.
Oh, does the poopy offend you, Todd?
No.
Interestingly enough, our first conversation was about poop. So this ain't shit.
Literally.
So how was how did the first contact occur? I'm talking about at the airport. How did that go?
Well, she landed, and I was, I had my little phone map on, and it was taking me, and I didn't really know where to go. I just don't get airports, man. I never have. So I'm going, and I end up over here on this the British side of the airport, or the international, not British, international side of the airport. And I'm like, "Where are you? I don't see you anywhere." I was like, "I'm over here," and I asked the guys, like, "No, that would be like over there in like A terminal." I was like, "Shit." So like, I'm late, and I know she's telling me she's got off and looking for her luggage. She hasn't got her luggage. And I'm like, "Oh man, I'm hauling ass over there." I was like, I'm gonna disappoint, because I want to be there to pick up the luggage off the rack and stuff and make her feel comfortable. And so I'm all freaking out. I'm about to have a panic attack. So I'm going, fast, and I get to a parking space, parking garage, and I'm rushing, and I'm like texting. We're on Telegram, and I'm texting her. It's like, "I just found a parking space," rushing down there. It doesn't take me long to get there. And I'm looking around, because we've never met. I don't know, how tall she is. I don't know. Well, we've talked about this, but I'm not sure what to look for outside of that. So I'm just kind of walking around, and I'm like intuitively just kind of walking. And all of a sudden I see her jump out of her seat. She's like looking around like this is the cutest thing with her glasses, cutest thing. And like jumping around. She's like looking for me. She senses that I'm in the room now, and we're like side by side looking at just side by side looking around.
You.
Yeah,
you saw me.
I saw her first. Yeah, and then our eyes met, and
oh, it was so cute.
this is adorable. This is adorable.
He brought me snacks.
Yeah.
He brought you snacks.
Yeah, he made like a little fruit platter. me. It was so wonderful.
Mangoes.
And I was freaking out because
we were both had stomach things up to this point. Like, you know, I'm sure that the flight and everything, you know, I knew she was going to have stomach problems, especially meeting me for the first time. You know, nervousness. So I said, oh, maybe make her a nice fruit basket.
Oh no. Oh, we're a bad.
I'm going to make her this nice little fruit basket, and you know,
and a shot or two of colon cleanse.
Yeah. I got to plug this in. I just realized we weren't.
And then we were on the Texan Freeway. Houston Freeway.
Katy Freeway. Yeah.
The Texan Freeway. Yeah, that's a hell of a freeway in Houston too, isn't it? Coming out of the airport. That's
right.
That's nuts.
The thing that you don't know about Kristie is she's got all this trauma from
car accidents
and driving and stuff like that. People driving and not paying attention. They're on their phones the whole time. And I knew this going into this shit. We've talked about this stuff, and
I was like, I'm just not great in cars. I'm still like working through it. I'm quite jumpy as a passenger, and right as we leave the airport, we're on the freaking like Texan freeway at night, and it's just like people are, and I'm just like,
that's normally how he drives, and he's normally on his phone the whole time he's driving.
Not with me in the car, for sure.
That stopped with her, Todd.
Okay,
I have changed my ways. I'm a changed man.
I can totally understand.
I
don't know how you ended up in a international terminal. That was like, you know, that's like another country away from where you came in. So you obviously haven't had much experience over there. That's the one terminal, you know, that's different than the other three because it says international.
Who said that?
But you know, I
didn't read that.
I was 30 minutes late to get to Morgan. And it was the same, you know, I wanted everything to be perfect and I just fucked the whole thing up. I didn't have a bag of goodies. I didn't have a bag of goodies. Hell, I didn't have a penny in my pocket.
Well, it's so funny. I got off the plane and I really had to pee. I went to the washroom and I was like, all of these like expectations or like fun, exciting stories came up. I was like, he's going to be waiting there. It's going to be wonderful. Like, Kristie, relax. Those are just stories. It's not real. This shit doesn't happen.
We had this in our mind, like even before the flight. You know, when we were talking about like her getting there, it's like, oh my god, do you think we should kiss the first time we see? Oh my god, we're probably gonna cry. We're not gonna be able to kiss because we're gonna be crying. It's like, whoa, let's just slow down. This probably just gonna let it happen and just like flow. Nothing came close.
Nothing at all.
Nothing was close.
Oh my god.
It was awesome.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was a mess.
I like messy though.
Me too.
Oh my god, this is great. This is the real deal.
It is. No.
Yeah,
it's shocked the hell out of us too.
Yeah, I mean, whether you see it in a person or a couple or whatever, I mean, it's just the real deal. This stuff is.
Yeah, even like Melissa Dehan and Robert Snedden as well. Like, she sent me a picture. She's like, I saw that you and Ryan, like, before they kind of posted their photo on Facebook, she sent me that picture of them, and I was like, wow, like I love them individually, but then together I was like, oh my god, I was so excited.
It's pretty weird, isn't it? It's pretty weird to look at, like the energy of the two that they come together. You can just see it. It's like they're coming on Thursday. That ought to be interesting. Yeah.
Yay. Oh, that's so exciting. Yeah, it's so wild.
So something's happening in the Soulogy energy field that is bringing people together.
Yeah, I think it's etheric fertility pills. No, well, there's a couple of things that you brought up that again, well, you're right, and I don't know if it's the Soulogy field or the Soulogy field is a micro of the whole collective. So we had Morgan put up a post yesterday. I talked about it. I think it was yesterday. This communion that we had, this session that we had, and in the session. And now, obviously, this has been going on a while because she's been activating octahedrons all over Eastern Australia. They're all over the place. She's asleep or she's laying in bed a few days ago, and these octahedrons started appearing, with her eyes open and congealing, And so in this session, it was this multi-dimensional octahedron new thing I talked about. I'm not going to get into it. But the other thing that it said was, one of the things that it said that came through was that these couples are a big part of what's happening. This isn't about romance, although it's, you know what I mean? But there's something going on, and, just like looking at the timing of even of you guys coming together, because man, it's fire the last 4 days since September 1. It's just like fire. And then of course, Robert and Melissa, and I'm sure there's many more. I see Eddie and Robin traveling. I mean, and you look at them, and I remember, hell, I guess indirectly, at least in the story, the reason they came together, because I was down in South Florida and I was going to do a show, and I saw Eddie driving down the highway, and I said, hey, I need a DJ. He says, well, I'm a DJ. I got a turntable. Come pick me up. Well, Robin went and they met. Well, a few days later, like 5-6 days later, Morgan hits me up, and she says, she was in Kansas City, and she says, are they a couple? And I said, well, I don't know. They just met. She goes, look at their picture. They're twins. And I looked at the picture. I'm like, oh my God. Well, when you look at, like Robert and Melissa, that picture, it's more than the familiarity or the resemblance. It's an overall kind of feel. And I love what you said about that third energy recognizes you. That was really cool. I hadn't really heard that before. But as far as the octahedrons go, you mentioned that a couple of times. What do you see? How do you see that? Is there a connection there? I mean, is there a reason that you're activating octahedrons, out under the willow tree and when you're laying in bed?
Yeah. So it's a practice I started doing a few years ago when I started getting into, I started alchemy and energy and all that stuff, all energy work. But for me, it's so how I activate them is above, below, on my two sides, and then in front and back. And then I just imagine 4 sort of like, it's like the middle, and then 4 sort of tentacle like lines come down and they connect to the 1, 2, 3, 4. And then from below as well. But the ones that connect, so side connects right through my heart center. And so do the ones in front and back. So it's like they kind of like pierce through my heart into the back. And then I spin it, and I can observe like a shift in my energy field as I start spinning it. And it spins really fast, and it expands outwards. So it's essentially like a heart expansion practice. And, you've seen the energy field of somebody that's heart centered is massive. It's massive. And then someone in fear is very small. So this energy field, I just send out as big as I can, emanating from my own heart center. And it kind of just envelops everything in the area. And I'm just sort of clearing for like just this general like area, this vicinity, this like all of Texas, really. I try to just like the South, like I just expand it out, but it comes from my heart. And for me, it's just sort of like a protective, but also like cleansing, a just really beautiful sort of heart expansive energy. And I do one for him as well. I just ask his higher self if it's in highest good for him to receive that. And I do it for him as well. And it's just like a really beautiful practice. And it sort of like sets up almost like vortices all around that are like safe sort of zones,
Yeah. Morgan just reminded me how that really kind of started. She said we were asked to put ourselves in a single octahedron. That's how that session started. And then everything went from there. So I don't know if there's any connection or relevance, but the fact that you're already in dealing, with that octahedron energy, and you're together, and it's, and then I will say too, and I know I'm biased, but that park behind Ryan is a holy shit portal. It's a holy,
my God.
It's a massive, that's where I spent a lot of my first really 2 years on the streets.
That's
I didn't. I lived right there. And then of course, when I went back, I'm hanging out with him and he lives right there. So I just know it's a very, very powerful, powerful portal. And even though I am biased, I know it's a lot bigger than me, or, you know, it's serious. I mean, it's a serious
part of our morning walking routine for the past 2 days. We missed it today, but it's we've been getting up early and like 7 o'clock, 7:30, and going and walking a couple of tracks around there, and just kind of, you know, experiencing.
It's so holy. Wow.
It is. It's a wild. I've seen some wild things out there. I mean, like totally dimensional with my 2 eyes. Totally just. It's an amazing place. Probably my most favorite spot in the world, at least from this incarnation, from the conscious memories I have, or whatever. But it's incredible. I don't know what it is. It's that whole bayou, I think, but that area in particular.
I think you're right. The bayou.
Yeah, the bayou is like, you know.
Yeah, the creek that passes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the bayou is like there's something primordial that comes out, you know, walking around out there. God, you guys are, you know, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say. This is like, you know, you just can't fake. You know what? I'm seeing that with people, right? You know, everyone's changing, expanding, evolving, but there's just something about the truth frequency that's coming out through all of us, which is just amazing. And you can't fake it. You cannot fake. You just can't. You can, and we've all been there. We've all said, "Oh my God, look what I can do now. I'm a such and such, and I can do this." And you know, it's just like all dropping. I love that what you said too about, you know, being in an intimate space, and like, and I remember telling Morgan, "What the fuck am I supposed to do?" You know, like, I can't do this, I can't do that. So what am I? And I cry about it.
Oh, yeah.
I would sit on the edge of the bed and just cry and think, you know, but I guess it's part of the deconstruction.
Oh yeah.
Very much.
That's happened to both of us too.
Yeah.
The crying, like we're just like, I'm not good at this anymore, or maybe I'm the best at this because it's the first time really that I'm doing this consciously.
Or what she doesn't like me.
Yeah.
You know, I would think that. I would think, oh, she must.
The first 3 or 4 days, we that was something we had that was hard.
Yeah.
And we both, and we're in such an honest place that we tell, you know, this is, it's something that we bring up, and we're not afraid to talk to. I mean, we're very open. We don't have any secrets, but so we're very open with everything, even if it's something is painful to the ego, the old story, either of Ryan or Kristie.
The man.
Yeah, the man. Yeah, the man. It's like, God, I have got to really think about all the shit that I've told myself as far as who I think I am, how I'm supposed to please, you know, why this is not important, why it's not working, why it's never worked, what is working, what is important.
Yeah.
You know?
And, you know, and it's so, you know, if you're on the outside looking in, you're going, so, you know, like that part you said about like 2 little kids, like, it's like we passed all that up. We rushed into, you know, fuck, and then try to become friends, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But I mean, seriously, we like rushed through. I mean, we've had soulgasms, you know, unexpectedly. Just did this one time with our fingers, and all of a sudden, you know, the whole universe opened up. But it's like from those, it's from that frequency, right? And I think the little kid thing is the perfect description of what that is, or the closest anyway. Because there's a curiosity, right? There's a innocence.
Yes, that's our word.
Innocence, curiosity.
Innocence.
Yeah, because you get to this space where you really, everything that ever happened or you ever did or was done to you is gone. I love what you said too about the, what did you say? Re-virginized. It's true.
It's true.
It's a brand new start. It's none of the old plays work with us. It's we're learning how to be in a conscious partnership. Yeah, and none of the old stories could work. This is brand new. We're open just to learn each other, and so beautiful.
Yeah, like anytime like an old pattern or something comes up, we speak to it. Like we're like, hey, this came up for me. This is how I used to do it. This is what I'm doing now. And it's really just a beautiful process to just clear shame. Like just, hey, this is like, I'm totally new at this. Like an example would be like, before I was in relationships, I was a cheater. I was always unfaithful, and I always had something to hide on my phone or on my computer or something like that. So I was always like hiding in shame and doing things in shame. And, I would always also be not trusting of my partner. So totally projecting my own stuff onto them. And so I would like check their phones if they left the room, like just totally.
Isn't that always the telltale sign, like the one who does is suspicious of the other?
That was me to a T. I was always like, look at you, and never looking at myself. But so I brought this up to Ryan. I said, I was watching something on his iPad, and I accidentally, like, it went to sleep. So I had to re-enter, and I was like, okay, I'm like, I don't want your password. Cause I wanted to let him know, like, this is something I would have done before. If you left the room, I might've snooped through and like, just to like feel safe, and stuff. But I said to him, I'm like, I just want to let you know, like, I have no desire to do this. And I was just so honest about what I used to do. He's like, it's cool. Like we're just like working through that kind of thing. Like something like that will come up, and I'll just like say like, oh, this is how I would have done something. This is what I'm doing now. And it's just like a really beautiful, you just can let your armor fall down. Like just, it falls away when you're honest. And it's just like,
and it's so easy, isn't it?
Actually is. Once you start being honest, it just like comes out of your mouth. And now all I want to do is be honest about everything. Like even something like, so a few nights ago, I was having all sorts of like attacking energies from my twin in the dream state. Like I was fighting with him over and over again in my dreams. I woke up in
multiple dreams.
Yeah, back to back, just like a lot of like attacking energy being thrown towards me. And I didn't need to tell Ryan about it, but I wanted to, just to like be honest, just to like share everything. And I let him know that that's what was coming up, that I'm still grieving like an expectation that I didn't realize I had about that timeline. And it's just like a really beautiful process to be able to share that with him and have him, be mature enough. I use that kind of loosely, mature enough to like hold space, meaning like he doesn't need to be like, I don't know what I meant by mature. It's just we're maturing with each other, like in a relationship, Yeah.
And
we're learning how to become mature, conscious adults.
Yeah.
I hate adults.
I know. It's just, but you know what I mean? It's like a maturity in relationship where you own your shit.
Yeah.
Your
our life in general too, right?
Yeah.
That's what we all learn to do on our own, right? And then
it's funny because it's like a maturity, but then we're also kids. It's like a maturity to become a kid again. You know what I mean? Because we are. Everything we do is so playful and fun, and that's just like what it's like a return to. That innocence.
Oh, we laugh so much, man. It's ridiculous how much we laugh, and it's so fun, and we don't care how much we laugh, and it's a continuous laugh and the joke, and it's like she woke up this morning with the damn giggles, and I was like, all right, we got the giggles now. It's just gonna keep on giggling. Has
your infamous neighbor complained yet? Has she banged on the ceiling? I'm kidding.
I think we're doing something about that energy. I think it's transforming her.
Well, that's the other thing. You mentioned the thing about something in the water at Soulogy, but there is something about the frequency of these couples that's contagious. We've seen this go on for, I want to go back like 3 years. we've seen it happen. Sometimes those continue on, and sometimes they're, steps, but we've definitely seen that it was very obvious that the energy was picked up. So yeah, you guys you're doing it. You're doing it.
We're doing it.
Huh? Yeah, you are. You're. It's amazing. Because I mean, everything takes a lot of guts, and God, sometimes people. I would just put up a post because we were 6 years ago, 24 hours ago, whatever. Morgan and I connected, so I put up a post with some pictures, and I wrote some stuff, and then somebody said, God, there was a lot of great comments, but somebody just, some people pick up on the courage that it takes, because it's one thing to undress yourself. That's hard enough, right? But to do it in front of somebody else, and really not have a playbook.
Yeah.
There's no playbook. It's like, every one of them's different, just like we're all unique and different from each other. Yeah. I was going to watch a sappy movie tonight, but I don't think I'm going to have to. You guys just like punctured my heart. My human's going, oh my God. So, but yeah, it's great. This is fantastic. I really appreciate y'all sharing this. Everybody, I think, does, because some of those comments would say, this gives me hope, and I think the more that people are exposed to the reality of it, and for me, watching, it's not some woo-woo thing. It's just two raw people. You know what I mean? And that's, the spin on it.
Yeah, and it's not even about like seeking it. It's about just seeking that union in yourself and calling it in, I guess, because I wasn't looking at all for anything.
Either.
Like it just came into my field when it was time, and Spirit said, your next set of healing and whatnot and transmuting and all that stuff is in relationship. And I was fighting it because I was like, no, I'm doing fine on my own. Like, I don't want this, because it's just, a whole other level of like shit you gotta face, right? And then as soon as I said yes, it was like, whoa, look at all your relationship patterns that you forgot existed. And you're like, oh goodness. So yeah, it is.
Or the ones you didn't know about.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, or the ones
those are
like,
not.
That's yours, man.
Yeah, that's yours. That's not mine.
He was very resistant, at the beginning. Even, it's.
Ryan just held it down. He was like, "All right, when you're ready." He knew. It's like he knew what we were supposed to do. At least at like the higher self level, he knew that we had a timeline thing planned to do this, because he just held it down. He was like.
And I'm not sure that at that time I really even knew who I was, because we just recently started talking about this. You mentioned this on another live about the walk-in. I'm not even sure I knew what was going on within myself, because in around, like I said, June, July, August, something just happened where I was like not the same Ryan.
Yeah.
It was like I was this, all of a sudden I had this self-confidence. And this just kind of,
yeah, I know you personally. I seen that. Yeah, I think the wonders that a smashed testicle will do.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Possibly.
Seriously, you seriously. I saw that in you. Even like your profile picture.
Yeah, it's like
I
had no need. Yeah. It's like I didn't want to do the same kind of post that I was doing. I wanted to kind of embody. I was feeling this very king energy, and especially when I started. This is before we even had our, big break moment where we realized that this was happening. I was starting to feel this fire, this. I'm stepping into my Leo role, my king role, and then I think that's when I think she started.
Then the earth started shaking.
smelled him. I was like, oh.
You two are just alike. I swear to God, your sense of humor it's
Same
eerie.
script, same
It's
person,
eerie.
same script, two different souls.
Oh my God, I laughed so hard with Morgan today, my stomach started hurting, and y'all just made it worse. I literally have stuff. I mean, my muscles are like going, stop.
Oh no.
Wait.
Oh no.
Hers hasn't kicked in yet. Don't start with her.
Relax.
No, I can't. Hey, you guys enjoy your time, and I hope you never leave. But I'm really happy for you both.
Thank you. We're really happy too.
I am, and not to but Ryan, especially Ryan, because he's my number one guy. He is, and so I know where he's been.
Brother.
All right, brother. I'll see you later. Peace out,
Brother.
Behave yourselves or not.
No. We can't make that promise. We cannot make that promise.